What are you guys doing? I might as well tell you about putting in the baffles. So this is the Extreme Flight 114-inch slick 580, and it comes with a split cowl, even though it's set up for a 2-cylinder and all that. And split cowls are super cool. I didn't have to make those big slots for the mufflers like a dummy. I wasn't even looking. And then you could make a nice tight hole because you pull it up through the bottom. And they take a little longer to take on and off. More screws, but it's always nice to have a split cowl. It gives you more opportunities to do more things. Anyway, that's a long story. So I shaped, these are the included very thin, very lightweight fiberglass baffles. And I checked out to see if they were going to actually, work pretty good, because also I just used foam. And they look like they're going to work pretty good, so I shaped them with a Dremel and got them where I wanted. And then usually I'd glass them in, but I didn't want to glass them in to have them like too stuck where they were. I didn't want to use any slow epoxy to where if I try to move them the next few minutes they just fall off. But I wanted to use some glue that would stick them on there pretty good, but be a little bit flexible, because I wanted to put it on the bottom half on the plane and the top half of the cowl on the plane too, and bolt it all together to make sure these things were in the right place for both pieces, all bolted together and bolted on the plane, so that they wouldn't be fighting each other after I glassed them in someplace, and they were a little bit off. So what I did was I used Zap Goo, and the stuff's badass anyway. Like it's done now. Look, I'll pick this whole thing up. Look. Whoop. I'm picking this whole thing up by the spinning around in circles, by that baffle, because I did it last night. It dried overnight. So the stuff's pretty badass, but I'll show you what I'm going to do anyway because of all the vibration. But I really don't think I have to. But anyway, I should kind of finish. I put the Zap Goo. So I bolted the lower half of the cowl on the plane. Zap Goo. And then I put the baffles in place where I wanted them. Then I Zap Gooed them on. And then I used blue painter's tape, and held them in place where I wanted them, making sure not to cover any of these bolt holes and rims. Like I said, this was fixed to the plane. Then I put the top, right there. I put that on top, bolted it to the plane, bolted it to the lower half, to where it was all secured right. And then I adjusted slightly. It wasn't too far off, but I adjusted the baffles to where all the alignment was good. Then I taped that from the top down onto it, so it's all taped where I wanted. Then let it sit overnight. I let it sit overnight, and you see, yeah, it's very stuck on there. It's very strong. I'm sure I could leave it. I've used Zap Goo before for things, and it sets pretty darn hard once it sets. But I also thought, since this is a split cowl, you only attach one side, so you got half the side floating in the air. And I thought, why not glass right there, right there, right there, and right there? Because those are the parts that are going to be pried off the most as it tries to vibrate around. And these are, these are cantilevered out. These parts are just, sticking up cantilevered out, not attached to anything. So just to be a little OCD, anal retentive, I'm going to take some glass. I got a bunch of different weights of glass. So I'll use something thick. And I'll just cut a couple of, like, maybe 1 1/4 by 1 1/4 square, like 4 of those. And you could just CA those in. You could use some Zap-A-Gap medium and just, pour that on there, kind of tap it down with a popsicle stick. And that would totally be good, totally be bomb-proof. It's already bomb-proof, and that would even make it more. I'm probably going to go ahead and use some Z-Epoxy from Zap, and just epoxy it down, so it's even a little stronger, a little more flexible. All this kind of overkill. It's pretty dialed the way it is, but that's how I put them down. The main thing wanted to show was if you have a 2-piece cowl, you got to do the same exact thing. Using the Zap Goo, it'll stick right when you put it on. And, a little blue tape helps too. And then you can adjust it, when you clamp on the top of the cowl. And then make sure you got it right. And then tape that, let it set. Whereas if you glass it on, you might be able to do that, but it'd be a little trickier. So that's what I ended up doing. And that's about that. Just thought I'd show you that. All right, out.